Getting into CNN was the culmination of everything that I'd ever done before, from working at a summer camp to working at the Apple store. Everything builds on everything else, and there's no job that I've ever had that was beneath me in that quest to get something greater and something more. So I basically got into CNN because I worked at the Apple store, and I learned how to build Final Cut Pro editing systems, and I learned how to maintain computer systems, and taught myself how to edit video, and met people. And people that I met and people that I helped, they got me jobs, I got them jobs. They brought me into CNN, and I guerrilla built them some Final Cut Pro systems and somehow managed to turn that into a job. I'm a little bit of a unique case. They said, hey, we have this bus, we want to drive it around the country and make a bunch of TV. Do you want to do that? I was willing to give up 1.5 years of my life to basically travel. Take every opportunity that comes at you. I mean, that was basically how I got to where I am, was just help other people out, they'll help you out, and take advantage of everything that comes your way. The best thing about working for CNN is I get to travel around the country and I get to meet all kinds of people. One thing I've been able to take advantage of is over the past 1.5 years I've been covering the election, and I made sure that when I would stop in a different city, I would find the startup scene in that community. I'd go to Indianapolis and find the capital factory of Indianapolis. I would go down to Jacksonville, Florida, and I'd find the Josh Bear of Jacksonville, Florida. And it's talking to people and learning new things is the greatest part of my job. After moving to Austin and spending time in the startup scene, I realized how much a presidential campaign was like a startup company. You have the candidate. The candidate is your idea, essentially. The candidate is your platform. It's crowdfunded. Everybody's looking for, you know, give me $5, give me $10. There's venture capitalists putting money in from across the country, and at the end you take it public. If you win, you take it public. The similarities also extend into the kind of hours that you're going to be work, the creativity that you have to put into it, and just it consumes your life. Ask anybody who's worked an election and they'll tell you that's all there was during that period of time. It's a sprint and a marathon all wrapped up into one. Ostensibly the idea is to change the world and to change the country for the better. Frankly, I like the micro of the tech startup scene better than the macro of the presidential election startup scene. It's just a little bit, frankly, more realistic. The coverage of tech in Austin is not where I personally want it to be or think it should be. I think there is overemphasis in America on the tech scenes of New York and Silicon Valley. I understand why it is. I understand that's where the critical mass is. I'm not interested in that. I think there is more fire in the middle of the country right now. There's something about this community and the businesses that are started here. Yes, they want to change the world, but they're not stupid enough to say, well, we're not going to worry about how we're going to make money. They understand that, look, it's business. They want to be in business. They want to make money. But fixing the world and making things better for everybody, by and large, it's part of the business plan. That's a revolutionary idea, I feel like, for a city, and something I'd love to be a part of, or at least cover. It's difficult for a startup to get national press. It really all comes down to network, in all honesty. And I think anybody who's in a startup knows that you have to be out there constantly, you have to be talking to people, you have to be meeting people. I can't tell you the thousands of PR pitches I get all of the time, and eventually you don't pay attention anymore. The PR pitches, the ones that I listen to, are the ones that come from friends of mine, are the ones that come from people that I've met randomly on the street. So your personal network cannot be underestimated for its ability to get you more attention and to get stuff out there. The best piece of advice I was ever given for new ideas and for startups was I was down at Geekdom, which is an incubator down in San Antonio. And I walk in there and I'm meeting all of these different companies, and I walk in, this one company is telling me absolutely everything about their business. Who they're funded by, who their competitors are, what they do, how they do it. And I pause for a second and say, guys, thank you, but aren't you concerned about intellectual property? Aren't you concerned about piracy? And they said, no, flat out. Piracy is not the issue in startups. Obscurity is the issue in startups. You need to tell people what you do, you need to tell everybody what you do, and you need to be telling them that all the time. The echo chamber and the word of mouth is your greatest ally in eventually making your way into national recognition. If the rest of the country were to adopt the model that Austin has developed for itself, and the spirit of community and altruistic entrepreneurialism that's developed here, it'll change the nation as we know it. And I think you're seeing that happen in, frankly, the mid-sized cities. Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley, and New York is always going to be New York. But you're seeing communities like Indianapolis, San Antonio, Minneapolis, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Florida, all of these mid-sized cities are having almost an awakening. Basically, they're not trying to steal factories from each other anymore and to get the next car manufacturer to come down. Now what they're doing is trying to foster their startup community and take that next generation of kids and say, look, you could go and spend your 20s in New York and Silicon Valley, but when you're ready to start a family, when you're ready to actually get something real going, come here. Quality of life is better, the cost of living is lower, and we have all of the advantages that those coasts have.